Okay. Good morning, everyone. Uh, so till now we have studied the lower layers of the network, how data is transmitted, delivered from one mission to another. Okay, but today's topic is something that all of you use every day without even talking about the technology. Okay, so now I'm asking a question. So how many of you checked your mail today, your Gmail account or your Yahoo account? So almost everyone. How many of you received an email from the university, a company, or an online service this week? Again, almost everyone. This shows how important email is in our daily life. Whenever companies send job notifications, banks and transaction alerts, or universities send examination schedules, they all rely on email. Today, we are going to understand what actually happens behind the scenes when you press the send button. By the end of this chapter, you should be able to explain how an email is created, how it travels through the internet, where it is stored, and how it finally reaches the receivers. Okay, so now here in the chapter 2, electronic mail. So here these are the topics: architecture and services, the user agent, message format, message transfer, final delivery. Okay, so this chapter is divided into five major parts. Okay, okay. So here, email has been one of the most successful internet applications ever created. So all of you know that. So before in the 1990s, email was mainly used by researchers and universities. But today, almost every organization depends on email. Am I right? So imagine a company like Infosys. Thousands of employees are located in Hyderabad, Bangalore, Pune, and even other countries. How do they coordinate projects? A large amount of communication happens through email. Similarly, our university sends notifications, circulars, examination schedules, and meeting information through email. Although social media and messaging applications are popular, like WhatsApp, email still remains the official method of communication. Why? Because the email provides documentation, authentication, record keeping, and professional communication. So now there is also negative side. So nearly 9 out of 10 emails, 90% of emails sent on the internet are spam. Every day you receive promotional emails, advertisements, or fake messages. Therefore, modern email systems spend a lot of effort identifying and filtering spam. Okay, so now email. Now we will see what are the conventional systems. Okay, so here email has developed in its own language. Okay, suppose BTW. I think you are the Gen Z people, Gen Z students. So I think you all of you know. Okay, BTW means by the way. IMHO means in my humble opinion. ROTFL means rolling on the floor laughing. I think am I right? Okay, so these abbreviations become popular because email communication is generally informed and fast. Another interesting thing is the use of emojis and smileys. Suppose I send this message, please meet me immediately. This sounds serious. Now, suppose I send, please meet me immediately, and then I given some smiley icon. So then the meaning changes completely. Okay. So computers cannot understand emotions. So people started using symbols and emojis to express feelings. Today, even professional emails sometimes contain simple emojis to make communication friendly. Okay, so now let us understand the overall architecture of email. I want you to compare email with the postal system. Suppose you want to send a birthday card to your friend. What do? You write the message, put in an envelope, write the address, give it to the post office. The post office transports it. Finally, your friend receives the letter. Okay, so email also works exactly the same way. There is a person who creates the message, a system that transports the message, a mailbox that stores the message. This entire process forms the architecture of electronic mail. Whenever you press the send button in Gmail, a complete chain of events starts in the background. Okay, now come to user agents. Okay, so here the first component is called user agent. A user agent is simply the software that allows us to read and send emails. Examples: Gmail. Through Gmail, we can read, we can receive, and we can send the emails. Outlook. Okay. Next, Apple Mail. Okay. Suppose you open Gmail on your phone. You type an email to your project guide or your HOD and press the send button. That moment, Gmail is acting as a user agent. Okay. Okay. It is acts as a user agent. The user agent performs several tasks. What it does? It allows to compose emails. It organizes emails into folders. It filters the spam. It even sends automatic replies. So, in simple words, the user agent is the interface between the user and the email system. Okay. So now message transfer agents. So here the message transfer agent means, okay. So suppose here this is the very interesting part. After you click on send, does your laptop directly deliver the email to the receiver? No. The email is handed over to a software called the Message Transfer Agent, MTA. Okay, so think of the MTA as a digital post office. Okay, it is suppose just imagine it is a digital post office. Okay, suppose I send an email from Gmail to a university email account. So Google's mail server receives the email, then it communicates with the university's mail server. The servers exchanges messages and finally deliver the email. Okay, so this communication happens using a protocol called as SMTP, Simple Mail Transfer Protocol. Understand? You are sending an email to the university mail account. Okay, so first it go to the Google's mail server, it receives the mail. Then it is communicated with the university's mail server. Okay, now the university mail server are receiving the mail. Okay, and finally deliver the email. Okay, so all these are happened because of the SMTP. So whenever you send an email, there are multiple mail servers working in the background. So without message transfer agents, email delivery would be impossible. Okay. So now mailboxes. Okay. So come to the mailboxes. Where does the email stay before you open it? It stays inside a mailbox. Your Gmail inbox is actually a mailbox stored on Google's server. Suppose you switch off your mobile phone for 2 days. People continue sending you emails. Why don't those emails disappear? Because they are safely stored in your mailbox. The moment you reconnected to the internet, your mail application synchronizes with the mailbox and shows the new emails. So the mailbox acts like a storage area for incoming emails. Okay. So next come to the standard formatted mail. Now, okay, suppose you write an email in Gmail and I read it in Outlook. How are these two different applications able to understand the same email? Okay, so the answer is standardization. Just like all countries follow certain postal standards, all email systems follow a common format. Okay, the internet originally used a standard. Okay, so so here suppose you are writing an email in to Outlook. Okay, so Outlook as a receive the Gmail. Okay, so both are the different applications. Okay, so the internet originally used a standard called the RFC 822. Okay, and later it is implemented, add some other features, and it become RFC 5322. Okay, so what this standard tells to every mail system, where the sender's address should be written, where the receiver's address should be written, where the subject should be written, and where the actual message should be placed. Okay, so because of every okay, so because of every email, okay, email application, the same rules are applicable. Understand? Okay, suppose see here to okay, suppose if you take the ordinary email, okay, example, suppose I write a letter to my friend, I put the letter inside the an envelope outside, so sender's address, receiver's address, okay, na? Okay, so this is the sender address, and next one, so this is the receiver address. Okay, inside the envelope we have the actual message. Okay, so the email works exactly the same way. So here the envelope contains information needed for transportation. The message contains the information that the receiver actually reads. Inside the message, there are two parts. So one is the header part and another one is the read part. Okay, so the header part contains wait. Okay, the header part contains the what the header part contains. Anybody knows? So header part contains what it contains. You are providing the destination email ID. Okay. So from address to address, subject. Okay. So that is the parts of the header. Okay. And what is the email body contains? It contains the so actual data. Okay. So whenever you receive an email, okay. So it is says simply we are writing something. So our computer record shows that you still have a notepad the above invoice. Okay. Now this is the part of the body. Understand? So, whereas the sender's address and subject line belong to the header. Header means from address to address subject, and body means the actual text. Okay. So now again we are detailedly discuss about the user agents. Okay. Already we know that the user agent is the software used to access email. Now we see here some examples. Um, the Gmail app on your mobile phone is a user agent. Microsoft Outlook is another user agent. Mozilla is the also another user agent. Google Chrome is the another agent. These applications allows us to compose messages, reply, forward, delete, search, organize images, emails. Okay, so think about what happens when you press the reply button. The software automatically fills the receiver's address. When you attach a file, the software handles all the complicated formatting behind the scenes. So the user agent makes email easy for ordinary users. Okay. So now if you go for the user agent interface, so how it looks like. When you open a Gmail, so what is the first thing you see? You see a list of emails. Okay. You are seeing a list of emails. Okay, sender's name, subject, date and time. Okay, so this is called as the message summary. The software gives you enough information to decide whether you should open the mail. For example, suppose you receive two emails. Okay, so assignment submission reminder or 50% discount on shopping. Which email will you open first? Obviously, the assignment reminder. Okay, so this is why the user agent displays summaries. So they help us prioritize our work. Okay. So after reading an email, what do we do normally? Okay. So actually, sometimes we are deleting the email, sometimes we keep the emails, sometimes we move it to another folder. Okay. So this process is called as message disposition. Suppose your project guide sends important instructions. You may move the email into a folder called project. Okay. Suppose you receive an advertisement. You may delete it immediately. Every email user performs okay message disposition every day without realizing it. Okay. So now okay, suppose you imagine you are using email for 5 years. Gmail. Suppose you are using Gmail for 5 years. You might have thousands of emails. So can you keep everything in one inbox? It would become impossible to manage. Okay, so therefore, user agents provide a feature called okay, so a feature called as the filing. Okay, so filing means you can create folders like placements. You can write project papers, students, or examinations, results. Okay, like this you can create personal. You can create different folders. Even better and modern email systems, you can perform the automatic filling. Okay. Now come to the search capabilities. Okay. Suppose your guide sent you an important email 6 months ago. Can you scroll through thousands of emails to find it? No. Okay. Simply you go for the search feature and click on the project review. Okay. So then immediately the email appears. Okay. So means so without such capabilities, managing large mailboxes would be so nearly impossible. Okay, so now come to the email management. Okay, so here the email management. Okay, suppose here also I'm telling someone example. Okay, people store thousands and sometimes millions of emails. Companies like Google provide enormous storage capacities. Imagine a manager in a multinational company. So every day he may receive hundreds of emails without automation, searching, filtering, and categorization. It would be impossible to manage such a large volume of communication. So this is why modern email systems are much more than simple messaging tools. So they have become intelligent information management systems. In fact, many organizations treat email as a valuable data stores for decision making and the record keeping. Okay, so similarly, we have the so vacational agents. Suppose whenever an employee is on vacation, the email system automatically informs the sender and sometimes even provides an alternative contact person. So this improves communication and prevents misunderstandings. Okay, user agents in mail composition. Okay, so here now let us see what happens while composing an email. When you type an email, the user hand agent help you in many ways. It checks spelling, it stores frequently used addresses, it allows attachments, it adds a signature automatically. Okay. So suppose, for example, whenever I want to send an email, my signature, Dr. U. Surya Kamas, Assistant Professor, Department of CSC, Acharya Nagarjuna University. Okay, that is my signature. So it is all automatically added to end of every my email. Okay. So the software perform all these tasks automatically. So composing an email is not just a typing test. A lot of background processing is taking place. Now come to the mailing lists. Okay, so here the mailing list is simply a group of email addresses stored under one name. Okay. Suppose MCA underscore students at the rate of okay nagarjuna.anu.edu. Okay. When an email is sent to this address, the system automatically sends copies to every student. Why means companies, universities, and professional organizations heavily use the mailing lists. Okay. So whenever you receive a message from a discussion group or department notification system, there is a high chance that a mailing list is working behind these scenes. Okay. Understand? So now the next topic is the message formats. Just until, so we discussed about the email components, the components in the email system. Okay, so now you let us look at the email itself. What exactly is an email? Is it just a plain text? No. An email is actually a structured document that follows certain rules. Think about writing a letter to a bank. You don't simply write random sentences. You are writing date, receiver's address, subject, message, signature. Okay, similarly, the email contains two parts. Okay, header and the body. Okay, so the header contains information about the message. The body contains the actual message that it receives. Okay, so here there are two kinds of message formats: ASCII message format, MIME message format. Okay, so here under the ASCII message format, we have RFC. RFC stands for request for comments. Request for comments. Okay, so this RFC 5322 defines how an email should be structured. Okay, uh, suppose it thinks that it is a rule book. According to this standard, so first it write from to subject date, okay, and then it is write the information. Okay, okay. So envelope fields means envelope fields or the message fields. Okay, suppose on the envelope I write the address. Inside the letter I write the message. Understand? On the envelope, we are writing the address. Inside the letter, we are writing the message. So similarly, in the mail also, it has envelope information and message information. The envelope is used by an email server for delivery. The message fields are shown to the user. Okay. Suppose if you have the courier service, the courier company needs the destination address. So similarly, envelope fields related to the destination and message fields related to the source. And next message format is MIME. Okay, so this MIME message format. Okay, so this MIME message format. So here, email systems are designed only for the plain text. Okay, so then the people started. Can we send photographs? Can we send PDF files? Can we send videos? Can we send PowerPoint presentations? The original email format could not support these things. Okay, that's why. So MIME was introduced. MIME, M-I-M-E. So here the MIME stands for, okay, multi-purpose internet mail extensions. Multi-purpose internet mail extensions. MIME allows email systems to send images, audio, video, documents, and attachments. For example, so when you email your project report as PDF attachment, MIME is being used. Okay, so when you send a photograph to someone through Gmail, MIME is working the behind all these scenes. Okay, now suppose I will show you some examples. Wait. Okay, so this is the RFP file headers. Okay, already you know about all these two address, CC. Okay, carbon copy, BCC means blind carbon copy, sender address, receiver address. Okay, so everything we have. Understand? Okay, so similarly for the MIME, we have the, so different languages we have under the MIME. Okay, they are the international languages. They can be converted easily through this MIME. Okay, MIME stands for multi-purpose internet mail extensions. Okay, so these are the MIME content types. Okay, MIME headers. Okay, suppose if we have the MIME example, I will show you. Suppose if we are adding a text. Okay, so plain, HTML, XML, CSS. Okay, so means here we have the content type. Okay, content type colon here, content type colon image slash JPEG. Similarly, content type slash application slash, okay, so PDF. Okay, so like this, so we have the different MIME content types and the message headers. Okay, now come to here. Okay, so next one is the message transfer. So here under the message transfer, here also I will tell you. First, I will come with you some question. After you click on the send button, what actually happens? After you click the send button, okay, so does your email directly jump into the receiver's inbox? No, it goes through the several mail servers. If you are sending a mail to Google, it goes to the Google server. Okay, so this entire process is called as the message transfer. Okay, so here we have the SMTP. SMTP stands for the Simple Mail Transfer Protocol. Okay, this is the protocol responsible for transferring emails between mail servers. Suppose I send an email from Gmail to Outlook. Google's mail server and Microsoft's mail server communicate using SMTP. Okay, so think of SMTP as the language so spoken by mail servers. Understand? Humans communicate using English or Telugu. So similarly, mail servers communicate using SMTP. Okay, so it is a simple ASCII protocol. Without SMTP, email delivery on the internet also not possible. Okay, so SMTP uses the TCP, Transmission Control Protocol. Why miss? The email delivery must be reliable. Okay, so it must be reliable. That's why it using the TCP protocol. Okay, I've already you know that the TCP it guarantees error checking, order delivery, reliable communication. Okay, and here the port number is 80. Already you know HTTPS uses port 80, HTTPS uses port 443, SMTP uses the port number 25. Okay, so okay, understand. And here, actually, what happened here? So first, now here we will see the entire process of SFTP. First, okay, the sender's mail server establishes a TCP connection. Then the receiving server says, "I am ready." The sender provides who sent the mail, who could receive the mail. So it provides the two from addresses. Okay, the actual message is transferred. So then the receiver acknowledges successful delivery. Understand? So this conversation happens in a few milliseconds. Okay. So now error handling in the SMTP. How it handles the error handling. Okay. So this is suppose you are accidentally sending email to example Y20 Y26 MC 2000. Okay, you have to write 75. In that place, you are write 95 at the rate of gmail.com. What happens? The email cannot be delivered. There is no mail ID with the this 95. So in this situation, the mail server generates an error message and send it back to you. So this is why you sometimes receive delivery failure notification. SMTP includes mechanisms to handle these kinds of problems. Okay. So here, so here we have the today our laptops and phones are frequently disconnected. So therefore, mail server stores emails until the user becomes available. So what we require? We require mailbox or inbox. Whenever the user opens the Gmail or Outlook, the email is retrieved. Okay. So here we have a protocol called as POP3, Post Office Protocol version 3. Okay. So it is collecting the letter. So actually, there is a post in the real time. There is a postman. The postman collected all the letters from the post office and he distributed. So similarly, here POP3 downloads emails from the server to your computer. Traditionally, after downloading, the emails may be removed from the server. This means if your laptop crashes, your emails may be lost. So because of this limitation, POP3 is less popular today. Understand? It is downloaded to your local system. That's why. If local system is corrupted, then you lost emails. Okay, so that's why the POP3 is not popular that much. Okay, so we have another protocol called as the IMAP. Okay, Internet Message Protocol. Okay, so unlike POP3, IMAP keeps the emails on the server. Okay, so now you can read your emails on your laptop, then open your mobile phone. The same emails are still there. Everything remains synchronized. So this is exactly how the Gmail works. Okay, so Here, these are the features how the IMAP is better than the POP3. Okay. Okay, suppose see here, suppose you read an email on your phone, later you open your laptop, the email already appear as the read. Am I right? Okay, how did this happen? Because the information is stored in the server. IMAP continuously synchronizes all devices. So this is why IMAP become more popular than the POP3. Understand? So here for the POP3 RFC 1939 is the protocol. For the IMAP RFC 206 is the protocol. POP3 is under works under the TCP port 110. IMAP is works under the TCP port 143. Okay, so here for the POP3, the emails is stored under the PC, and through IMAP, the emails are stored under the server box. Okay, server. Okay, we can read the email only offline, but here in the IMAP, wherever, okay, or on any device we can read. So that is the online. Okay, so here we have the for using MAP3, there are less multiple mailboxes, but through IMAP, okay, there are multiple mailboxes are there. That's why you can open your email in your system, in your lap, your PC, in your mobile, or in your friend's mobile also. Okay. So, and POP3 is simple to implement it, but IMAP is it takes some difficulty. Okay. So, everywhere the POP3 is spreaded. So, but it has to growing. Okay. So, these are the main differences between the POP3 and the IMAP. Understand? So students, so next time, so whenever, okay, so you just click on the Gmail button, send button, just remember everything. Okay, so first it goes to the user agent, okay, domain name system, user agent, and then message transfer agent, and then SMTP, and then mailbox, and then the POP3 or the IMAP. Okay. So this is the main beauty of the computer networks, complex systems working together to make simple things possible. Okay. Thank you, students.